stepping up to challenge the thoughts of dear Abby,
Bring it, Abby.
who has been known for decades to give Americans advice about what they need to do in their current situations. Well, it takes only Nikki to maybe combat that. Say it like it needs to be said. Sometimes you just need to. So since we ended with talking about
that's still your boyfriend technically, so don't tell anybody until you have a ring, because the first thing people are going to say is, let me see the ring. And if you don't have a ring, nobody's taking you seriously, and that could be a reason. If you get the ring and you still feel that way, you are fairly young, and 21 is a young age to get engaged. So if you want to be engaged, these are the times when I say I don't look at engagements, long engagements, with a side eye when you're 21. I don't give that the side eye.
But if you're 35,
if you're 35,
long engagement.
I'm like, we got 6 months to plan this and get this cooking. Like, there, yeah, no, we're not going to get engaged. So I absolutely, you're not engaged now, so I wouldn't even sweat it. Until you can get a ring, then you worry about that.
So not so much cold feet, would you say, is being kind of maybe a bit intuitive on this. Like, she could feeling like it's not really an engagement because the
it's
ring,
not.
which traditionally is the hallmark of your engagement, is put a ring on it, kind of thing.
So you're not engaged. So don't worry about it. No. Okay.
Dear Coach, an engagement with no ring and no announcement probably seems like an engagement at all.
Ta-ta!
And by the way, Nikki doesn't cheat.
I don't cheat. I never know any of this. I'm not even watching anything on my screen. She just picks them, throws them at me, and I'm going blind, just like you guys.
So they agree. It must be because grapevines. Yes. That's why you and Derek should rethink making an announcement until you both feel ready to take such a big step. When the time is right, the ideal of marriage and children will make you feel happy, not frightened. Frankly, I think your fear is going to be well-founded because you have had little life experience, and once the ball starts rolling, stopping it may be complicated. That's why you and Derek should remain in a holding pattern until you are more confident about what you want to do. I agree 100%.
Yes.
I mean, and here's the thing. I'm not opposed to people being married young, even though I feel like 21 is really young. You have no life experience under your belt. By no means am I trying to say keep you in relationships with people, but it helps. But I think you kind of grow as you date people. I don't think until you dated at 16 is a good barometer about
absolutely.
What good quality husbands
Oh,
would be.
absolutely.
Until you really date, and probably I hate to say date and have some heartbreak. I hate to say that, but I think
it was necessary.
I think it helps you put things in perspective. Because here's the thing: heartbreak does suck because someone breaks your heart, but I think it's a growth point individually. You start to learn a bit about yourself, about what you want, what you don't want, and you never have that comparison point. You kind of go into the. I think sometimes people who often do get very young is why they do end up getting older.
Yes.
Not to mention you change over throughout your life.
And so you're clearly not going to be the same woman at 30 that you are at 21. You're going to go through a lot of change, and neither will he. He won't be the same, and hopefully he won't be the same guy at 21. So that's really young, and I'm not opposed to people getting married really young, but if it's kind of making you take a step back, and look, there's a reason for that. Follow that along with the fact that you don't have a ring.
I thought it was kind of weird. I wish I could talk to Derek, because I would like to ask Derek why he's making the question of a ring, because a ring usually kind of presents that I decided that I want to put a ring on it.
We do things backwards.
Not even a promise ring.
We do things backwards nowadays. It's like people accept it like, yes,
let's get married.
And that's good enough. Like, you don't even, before it was a big common circumstance, and you got on one knee, and like everything was like, yeah, I'll engage you later.
one thing-
The ring is coming, and people are like, okay.
There's that the relevancy of a ring in the engagement process is never lost. It's shocking.
No.
No pun.
No, no, I'm serious.
So I'm like, the fact that he decided to propose without it, I thought was kind of odd. Not even a promise ring, like, this is our first step, and I want you think it's a
It's
threat?
it's not
Producer
trap.
extraordinaire Jess, who, by the way, today is
Happy
Jess's
birthday,
birthday. Happy
Jessie.
birthday, Jessie. What are you, 21?
See, that's why he's like, it's a trap.
He's like, it's a trap. I kind of think maybe it's a bit possessive in ownership. But I don't know them well enough.
Right.
It seems a little fishy to me.
Right.
Okay.
If she's
No
feeling
trophy T-shirt for you. I'm just kidding. Okay, sorry.
If you're feeling that way, it's a reason, and you don't have a ring, I wouldn't worry about it until you cross a bridge.
When
and
he
you get
when he puts a ring on it, that's when you know.
and
It's
that's
time.
when you know he's serious.
Exactly. All right. Dating behind parents' back won't prove teens' maturity. Dear Abby, my boyfriend Aiden, and I have been dating for 3 months. I want to tell my parents, but I don't know how. They say I'm too young and immature to date. I'll be 16 in 5 months. They say Aiden is obsessed with me. They don't want me to stay in an unhealthy relationship. My parents think I'm not talking to Aiden, but I really am. I want to tell them I'm mature enough for a relationship. All they keep saying is I need to be realistic and respectful. I'm more respectful than half the people I know. I don't want to keep this from my parents anymore. What should I do? Teen girl Illinois. What? Look, Illinois. Come on. What would Nikki say?
She's 16, and so her parents don't like Aiden. I'm gathering. I'm trying to gather the information. So they're familiar with him. They just think they're not going. So for whatever reason, your parents don't like your boyfriend. That is not. You're 16, and I will say this: my parents didn't know I had a boyfriend when I was 16. I wasn't supposed to, but I did. That wasn't hot. I was just like, this is just dumb. Look, Maya, I've been fine for a long time. It's hard keeping the boys off of this, all right?
Oh, my trophy.
At some point, you got to give in.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
So I mean, I did have a boy. I wasn't promiscuous or anything. I just had a boyfriend, and he carried my boys. And we had ice cream, and we went to the park. I mean, it wasn't anything. It was cute. It was puppy. Like it was cute. So it depends on the level of intensity that this relationship is. If it's simple and that's just your boyfriend and it's normal teenage movies, pizza kind of thing, fine. If you're taking it to another level and you think that now you're in love and you're thinking about birth control and like all this weird. No, I'm saying if it's that, that's something that your parents should be involved in. If not, and I'm not a fan of telling people to go behind your parents' back, but teenagers are going to do what they want to do, especially if you don't like a boy. That's the worst thing to do is express how much you don't like a boy and forbid somebody to date each other. That's just going to drive them.
When you say don't do something, the average teenager
is
child
going
wants
to do it.
Now, obviously, I love these other things. Like, we don't get to get into, like,
Oh,
dirty
that's
crazy.
right.
Like, there's something about Aiden that their parents don't like.
Right.
Now, believe it or not, teenagers don't have it.
Your parents are right.
They're into it.
They are right.
When
Yes.
When they tell you about a friend or a
Yes.
boyfriend,
Yes.
that's because there's some learning curve behind
Yes.
that. Okay, this is what you're at. Dear teen. When parents say a teen is too young to date, they aren't talking about the number of candles birthday. If your parents are worried that Aiden is obsessed, they must have a reason. It's real. Right. Sneaking around is no way to gain Aiden's confidence. Teens show they are mature and responsible when they give the privilege of dating by being open, honest, communicating their feelings, listening respectfully to the opinions of others, and shouldering responsibility. Now, especially if you start now, you may be able to convince your parents that.
There's some parents that are adamant, and when they're adamant, they're just adamant, and it's their way or the highway, which I get. And just like you, Abby said, with some cause and measure, there's something about Aiden that's in a flag, but forbidding them to see each other is not stopping them from seeing each other. And like I said, the minute you tell them not to and forbid, that's the minute that they're driving them right into each other. So I don't even know, and I wish I could have more meat behind this. If her parents are just kind of like, I said no, or if she can go and actually talk to them, because it seems like she was willing to be open and honest about this at some point, and then they put the kibosh on it. So maybe she now feels like I can't even go and tell them we're still talking, I'm still seeing them, and then kind of talk that out. So it sounds like she can't do that.
Well, because first of all, Aiden is not going to be close to okay with people who
Right.
obsessive, and apparently he's done something.
Yes.
But understand, what's obsession to develop for some reason is admiration to each other.
Yes.
Now, we've all been there. How, look back and maybe some people did crazy cycle in a weird way. How,
Everybody's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, what's your perspective on certain things are a bit different than your parents are, because obviously they've evolved and they've learned. So most of the time, your teenager is not you'll come
Yes.
across something in the news like, you know what, that's crazy.
Yes.
This is why that's crazy. You know, and you're kind of, you're not directly talking to them, but you're directly talking to them.
All of the time, you drop those subtle hints and you kind of let them know what's appropriate, what's not. This is great, you do that. And also, with that, when your children come to you, as parents, I know the first thing you say is, it's like you don't want to explain the day of because I said so. Kids don't like that, and so sometimes why don't you like it? Because I said so. I just don't.
Well, you can
So
get
you have to have,
Right.
if you kind of explain it, and then you don't know this, but teenagers listen.
Oh, they do.
More than
They
we
do.
give them credit for. They really, really do
listen to
listen.
the good and the bad.
And they listen to the good and they listen to the bad.
Yes.
And sometimes
When the
they won't acknowledge it, but in the back of their mind, they're like, well, it's kind of, yeah, maybe. And they kind of look at that themselves, and then that helps them to draw a conclusion. It really does.
You know, I think, parents just have quality time, like, especially with their sons and daughters watching the IDP channel. They show, like, stalkers. Just like kick it back, watch it. I'm like, what's that crazy? How if anybody ever does that to you,
Yes.
red flag. It's just those subtle ways of trying to let kids know that what might seem normal isn't, and you're so open-minded. Teenagers, you think they're invincible.
Yes.
It can't happen to me. It won't happen to me. So as a parent, you kind of have to strategically, nowadays especially, kids aren't what they used to be. What you
They
would say
have
to us,
access to so much more.
you can't
though.
parent the same way. Even I
No, you
realize
can't.
that, and I'm really old school. All right, so unfortunately for teen in Illinois, I don't think her parents are going to be cool with Aiden no matter what.
No,
I think that's
they're
good. I think when she decides to be sure and tell him, there's going to be some problems.
It's going to be a backlash.
There's gonna be some problems
Yes.
in the household. She strikes me as discipline in that house was soft to begin with, and then she might roll the world down.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay.
There's more?
Let's not get
But wait,
before-
there's more.
There